Remember what prompts this parable. The Pharisees and scribes begin complaining. This man welcomes sinners and eats with them. And it's to them Jesus addresses this parable. And what a gift, the parables of our Master. And this parable, the parable of the prodigal son, perhaps the most profound and beautiful of them all. To ask, who is the center of this story? By its most common name, the parable of the prodigal son, we might say the center, it's the son, the prodigal, the one who was lost but was found. Yet what about the others? Think the father. Wouldn't it almost be better called the parable of the good father, the merciful father? Could even say the prodigal father, the one who recklessly wastes his love on his sons. Might he be the true center of the story? And notice I didn't say son, but sons, plural. Say most accurate and all-encompassing, though, we might say the parable of the two brothers and their good father. The prodigal and the one who remained at home, who never left. Those are the first 5 words, actually, that follow the Pharisees and the scribes who complain about the sinners and tax collectors. A man had 2 sons. The story is about both the sons and their father. I highlight just one point for reflection in light of this Laetare Sunday, Rejoice Sunday. For us to ask, which son lived or journeyed farthest away from home? Who was farthest from home? On one hand, there is the younger son, the prodigal, who demands the inheritance and journeys into a far country. Geographically, he travels away, only to squander all that he's been given. We have him on the one hand, that distance. Yet on the other hand, the older son, the one who always remained home. Yet where was his heart? We might ask, where in our lives, as children of God, has our heart been? Look at this older son. How far off away at a distance was he from living in the joy of his father's presence? He never left home. Might say, among us who've maybe never left the practice of our faith, which is a good thing. But for us to ask, how much have we enjoyed the gifts of our Father? It's not necessarily only us who go astray, who may not be living with that joy of being in the presence of the Father. This Sunday, Laetare Sunday, Rejoice Sunday, the question for us, are we fully living in the embrace and the joy of our Father's arms, the arms of our God? And the interesting thing, I always remember the detail of the father going out to meet the younger son, going this great distance and even running towards him. And yet, the detail that the Father makes this same journey to his older son. He goes out to meet the older brother too. My son, you have been here with me always. Everything I have is yours. That's all of our story. No matter how far we've maybe strayed or how much we've been in the life and the practice of the faith, it's the same Father. And I would say, looking at like the older son, us who are really faithful practicing Catholics, in particular, to remember, no one of us should ever be bitter or actually lack joy. Our home is with the Father. And everything he has to give is ours. He holds nothing back. Above all, his very own Son and his Spirit is an image of the arms of our Father in heaven, which he wants to embrace us with. Who are those arms? His Son and his Spirit. Rejoice. That's this weekend. The world should be able to tell that we are faithful practicing Catholics simply by our joy. Should be able to tell. As the Father says, you are with me always. And for us here to realize everything I have is yours. And so rejoice and be glad.